Hi y'all, it's Swankivy, and today's video is part of my new series bringing in some asexual spectrum volunteers and stuff for interviews and giving people a chance to talk about their ACE experience for anybody who subscribes and is interested in seeing some varied content finally come into my channel. So I'm hoping this will kind of change things up a little bit and bring some new perspectives in for people to relate to and, present some different experiences in the diverse community. So my guest today is Ruby. Are you ready to introduce yourself?
I am. Hi, my name is Ruby. I'm a panromantic repulsed ace. I am 27. I live in the UK, and for my career, I am my mother's carer.
Wonderful. All right, so we are going to talk about ACE experience today. And I kind of want to start out with a more sort of personal perspective on what your history is, learning that you were ACE and what that, how you came to identify that way.
Okay, well, I know that I had heard of the term within the last decade, but I hadn't really associated it with me because I wasn't thinking too much about that sort of thing. But then, when fellow students and teachers were kind of noticing I wasn't quite the same, they kind of started pestering me about it, and I learned the word celibate first, and then later on I learned the word ace, but I never brought it up to them because by that point I was out of school. But that was basically how I learned I was part of that label.
Mm-hmm. Did you come across it online, or you just heard it, people talking about it, or you did?
Yeah, it was online. Mostly that I was reading this word and I was thinking, that seems like a weird word. I don't know if I fit that.
Yeah, seems like we encounter it first and then later come back to it and say, oh, maybe that is me. Seems like that's common for a lot of people. At first we think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty common. Discovering it online and stuff is really, seems to be the most common story these days. Some people read it in a magazine or something, but online is by far the most common. I hope people don't learn from watching that House episode.
I think that a fair amount of people have, but then they come to the internet and gone, oh, they kind of mucked that up.
Yeah, I sure hope they conclude that, because that is not a good presentation of it. It's either a lie or a sickness. So, so you said that you are a panromantic asexual person. So how do you define that for yourself, and how have you approached relationships as a panromantic person?
Honestly, since I've known that I'm a bit different, and I've sort of had it drilled in my head by these students and teachers that people will be expecting me to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've mostly been wary about it, but but I have given people the chance, but telling them that I'm not gonna do stuff with them usually drives them off. I have had, I think, mostly secretly more online relationships than physical, purely because of that barrier of not being pressured into anything. And I have tried going out with girls and guys, both online and offline, even though girls have mostly only been online because they're American. But I think I preferred girls because I don't have that worry that if we get in the same room together, I'm gonna get hurt or anything. But that's not happened, so I've not really got an opinion for being able to say that I'm going out with a girl in real life. Maybe one day.
Okay.
Tried.
Mm-hmm. And panromantic to you just means any gender might be attractive?
Yeah. If it's like someone that respects me and makes me laugh, then yeah, I'll get a crush on them. And if they want to go out, I'll try going out.
Mm-hmm. So you get crushes, but you don't want them to be a physical relationship at all.
I can do hugs, but I'd rather like all the clothes stay on. And unless it's a hot day, then they can go down to undies. But then just no.
Sounds like we're pretty similar that way. I'm not a huggy. I'll hug someone, but I'm not touchy feely with anyone. But I'm aromantic, so I encounter that a lot less than people who are trying to date at all. So,
I am happy for hugs, and I think I am like cuddle starved. But like people have always told me that like leads into stuff. So I think I want cuddles, but then I don't want the other person to get the wrong idea.
mm-hmm.
And I've mostly come across aloes, which hasn't really helped.
Right. Wow. Yeah. It really is frustrating to me that any kind of physical intimacy, like cuddling and being comfortable with someone, that people really will say, well, you're leading me on or you're leading to something. It's like, it's just a cuddle. Like some people just like to cuddle.
I'm just hugging you. Please stop.
Yeah.
Get your
Yeah.
head out the gutter.
Yeah. Really, it's just about mutual respect. Like you said, you need to be able to respect somebody that you're with. So, yeah, that's really hard. So, in the conversations that we've had kind of leading up to deciding to do the interview, you had told me that you are on the autistic spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how that intersects with being ACE?
Well, given it's a very fresh diagnosis as of December last year, to be fair, I'm still trying to figure out like what is like part of my being autistic, basically, because obviously I've like no other way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say that I am mostly deaf. I wear a hearing aid,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know like what's my autism and what I like learned how to think from how I've been treated from being deaf. So honestly, I'm still learning about that, but I would not be surprised if being ACE came into part of my being autistic.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of it, like, I think most of what shows of it is the fact that I'm not good with emotions or connections in general, so obviously I don't understand why people have to do stuff as a vital part of a relationship in the first place. So it's I don't know. People have just sort of seen me sort of as childish, and again, I don't know whether that plays into my being ace and or autistic or whatever. So
Yeah, very relatable, honestly. I mean, even though I am, I've never been diagnosed with any kind of autistic spectrum variation, but when I hear people talk about their experience there, I see a lot of the same things I have heard said to me about, well, you're childish, well, you have some kind of problem. They'll classify it as a problem and say either one is a symptom, like either your asexuality is a symptom of something else, or your asexuality means that you have another problem. And it's a lot of invalidation, honestly. That's all it is just, I mean, personally, I think that in a lot of cases there's no way to really pull apart those things. Like you were saying, you don't know what parts of what is due to what. So I don't know how useful it even would be to say one thing is because of the other. I think that people just want to medicalize everything
Mm.
and then they want to fix it.
Mm.
So,
I have been called immature a lot.
mm-hmm. Well, me
I think
too. And I'm 42 years old, and people are still telling me, well, one day when you're an adult, you'll realize blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't get
I've been an adult for about 30 years. When is this going to kick in?
right. I mean, do I have to get rid of all of my stuffed animals to be mature? Because I'm not doing it.
That would make me unhappy. If
Yes,
being an adult means being unhappy, then no thank you.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, we could talk all day about this thing about being called childish and how we get infantilized as people who are not interested in adult relationships. It's almost like they think you can't be anything other than a child if you don't engage in these relationships. It's manipulative, honestly. It makes me feel like they expect me to say, oh, well, I don't want to be childish. I want to be mature, so I have to do these things. And then I feel like I have to do what they say. Thank goodness I realized pretty young that they were doing that, and I learned how to resist it. Because, otherwise I might have no plushies and not be able to do the things that I feel like are necessary for my agency to be respected. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had my maturity questioned by someone who was more mature than me.
I just see you as a fun person.
Thanks. I've got a cartoon bear on my shirt,
I know.
I like the show.
I have never seen it.
We Bear Bears is cute. Ice Bear is my favorite.
I have no idea if I even get the show on the limited TV that I get because I don't have the fancy channels.
Yeah. Most of what I get to see is when someone brings their Netflix subscription to my house. So I don't have any subscriptions myself.
You're missing out. But then
No.
so am I, so what do I know?
Oh, so well, let's see. There are some things that I want to make sure that I ask everybody I talk to, and one of those is what they feel like the hardest things about being ace are.
Mostly it's being called immature and being disbelieved, being told that I need to try it, all the basic bingo board crap,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm allowed to say that.
Oh yes.
Okay. And the times that I have been in a physical relationship, I've been told by outsiders that I'm a horrible girlfriend because I don't do that with the person. And it's not a real relationship because I don't do that with the person. And I'm just here like, well, you make it sound like that's all you do all day. What about the other 12 parts of a relationship? Why is that the biggest thing that makes it valid?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I do on online chat rooms for recruitment for my audio projects, and I do get idiots talking to me and finding out that I'm ace even when I'm in a relationship, and they offer to show me what I'm missing.
Ooh.
The amount of no, thank you. I'd rather keep my lunch in my body, thank you.
Same.
um, but I think mostly being ace like really limits that pond of fish that everybody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, most everybody is aloe, so I'm very wary if I like to get to be around an aloe because of the pressures and stuff that natural society has taught them.
Yeah, I've definitely been on the other side of that. And even though I haven't dated in more than 20 years, it's still, being an activist and stuff. You just hear people tell you you're selfish. Why would you even exist in the world without giving this to someone? What a waste,
I mean, I'm giving them my love, attention, and time.
Mhm.
So what's the problem?
It really does all come down to respect and mutual satisfaction of needs. And if somebody wants me to be unhappy and to have to sacrifice for them to be happy in the relationship, then why do I want to start a relationship with someone who, wants to change me in this fundamental way? So, but I'm aromantic, so I'm not looking for any kind of partner. I just want friends. So.
Friends are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, if I did date, I would say the exact same thing. I would want pretty much my relationships to be like my friendships, where
With
they,
extra cuddles.
yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, I have occasionally met a person here and there that there are isolated times where I'm okay with prolonged contact, maybe even like a massage or something, but I don't know. I'm not, maybe it's just that I am weird about smells. I'm like, oh, your armpit stinks. I don't want to be near you, or your breath
Well,
smells.
that was just me, but no. Apparently, I've got a super sensitive nose, and now I think about it, that might be my autism.
It also is funny that, since you and me are both shorter than most people, it's like you hug them and then your face is right in their armpit, and I'm like, ooh.
I sort of tend to be around the elbow area of people that are 5'9", so I'm just kind of here like, well, thank God I'm not any lower.
Yes. Yeah. I had a friend who was so tall that I was face to face with his belly button.
What's this tummy button?
Yeah, it was right there. I'm like, what? How are you that tall?
Give me a stool.
Yes. Yeah. He was taller than my refrigerator. I remember that. And
Oh no. I
and
know that one of my ex-boyfriends was like 6'4".
uh-huh.
Oh my god. And I was just kind of there going, what the hell am I dating him? I mean, he's cute as all heck,
Uh-huh.
but I can't exactly hug him without it being in a really awkward place.
Yeah. So, but you aesthetically think people are attractive sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't ever cross into, intimate kind of attractions. It's just aesthetic and romantic.
I think the furthest I've ever gone is sort of like Eskimo kisses.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, I'm just like they 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 look really good. They've got lovely hair. They've got lovely eyes. I love their voice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hug them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I apologize if you can hear my hearing aid squealing like heck.
I don't think I can hear anything. Let's see. I think I could go ahead and go to the next question, which is kind of the opposite of the one that we were talking about first, which was the what are the most difficult things about being ace. I also want to talk about the good things. What do you think the best things about being ace have been for you?
Unfortunately, this was like one sentence I could come up with. Just the lack of STDs or unwanted kids. That's basically it.
Mhm. You know, I've had one other interview so far, and the other person that I talked to said the same thing about not having to worry about those aspects of just like a typical sex life, I guess. But I remember reading this cartoon once where someone was kind of listing all of their favorite things about being asexual. And even though if you happen to be the type of asexual person that still does have those kinds of relationships, these things wouldn't apply. But I saw this one where she says, I never have to try to remember where I left my pants. I thought that was really funny. Hmm.
Oh no, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, personally, I've lost some pants, but it wasn't because I left them at someone's house.
Yeah, it tends to be in the washing machine.
Yeah.
Washing machines are weird. They're voids, and they eat things.
They're just black holes. Oh, let's see. So, since we didn't have too much to add there, I'm just going to go to the next one. What was the next one on the list? I was going to ask, who in your life have you been willing to disclose being ace to, and how do you share your status with other people? How kind of out are you?
I've told anyone that I've been friends with whether we were going to be in a relationship or not, because I don't like that sort of talk anyway, and sometimes I have to explain why, even though I think it kind of sounds like I'm just making an excuse. But I've told my mum, and she seems fine with it, because she knows that she once got me the book of like how babies are made, and I just kind of aborted everything when I was reading that. So that was I think that kind of filled in the that makes sense now sort of thing, as to like why I saw that and went nope.
Nope, right out.
Yeah. Yeah, I I still have the image in my head, and the written sentence next to it, and every time I've thought about it over the last 25ish years, my brain has just sort of gone, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that she hasn't like been one of these people that have like nagged me for grandkids or whatever, like I read about so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been fortunate that way too, that I don't have any pressure in my family that they're like, when are you going to give us grandkids?
There's enough people in the world already, even though this current pandemic may take out a fair few of us. But even when all this is over, I'm not going to be worrying about it, because who wants more deaf kids, is my opinion.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of negative about the whole having kids thing, and I going back to the idiots that I mentioned earlier. Um, um, they they have bombarded me with questions about but what if I like have a daughter someday, and I'm just there going, well, what makes you think I'll have a daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've like had to like try and explain that A, I don't want to go through that process, and B, I'm disabled. I don't want to make more disabled kids. I struggled enough. I'm not. I'm. I know it's. I know that I'm being selfish, but I want to be nice enough that I'm not going to put anyone else through that.
I see. So that kind of ties in with your perspective on the whole, like being a disabled person in the world and also being ace. This is kind of part of your perspective on that. Hmm. Do you have some other stuff to add to that? Because that's on the next question of how like being a deaf person and all of that has affected everything about being ace.
Mm. Well, I'm not quite sure how it's like directly affected my being ace. I just know that the way that I've grown up being a deaf person in the hearing world,
Mm-hmm.
basically punished a lot for being deaf because I wasn't listening. Just, just, just kind, just kind of like left me a bit of a bitter person, and I haven't quite got past any of that yet.
I see.
Um, but as far as I think that if I wasn't deaf, I might not be autistic, but then I don't know whether that would make me a regular allo or whatever. So I guess just being born like this is kind of just molded me into the way I am.
Mm-hmm. All of those things are authentically part of your personality.
And people seem to think they can fix that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I would like to be a bit less bitter, but I'm not entirely sure how to do that without taking away my entire life experience of, well, I'm obviously not a good person because I'm deaf.
I see. I'm kind of interested in what you might think about this, because I have a lot of activist friends who do other things, like not related to asexuality specifically, but are queer activists or disabled activists. I have some physically, mentally, chronic illness friends, that do a lot of advocacy. And one of the things that they found fascinating to talk to me about was this, how disabled people get desexualized, and how they pushed back against that. They're like, we don't want to be seen as asexual because just because we're disabled doesn't mean we're asexual. And I'm like, just so you know, that's not a negative term necessarily. That's not a bad thing necessarily. And then I've talked to some disabled aces who have said, this is awkward because we are both. We don't want to make aces look bad by saying it interacts with our disability, but we also don't want to make disabled people be unintentionally desexualized by being associated with us. So it's really awkward for some of them because they're both and they're authentically both. And I feel like both communities need to be able to be inclusive of both of those, of each other. Do you think that you have any thoughts on that from your own experiences?
Not really. I think I would just say that I'm fairly happy as a disabled ace to be thought of as not screwable. I'm quite happy with that.
It happens to
I am a happy little virgin.
Huh?
I am a happy little virgin. and then people go, but you've got to try it, and I'm just here like, no. I'm sorry, I spoke over you at one point. I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, I was just agreeing with you, and also just saying I also am a happy little virgin. So I very much relate to what you said about how you have to try it, and I feel
it's
like
hugging a cactus. I hear it's all the rage now.
That's great. I don't want to be too sex negative in general, but personally I'm very against it. I'm not against it in principle, but anytime anybody talks to me about it with like sex with me involved, I'm immediately, it's not neutral, it's negative. I actively don't want that. So actually, I have a question there on my list of things I wanted to ask you about is where we both identify as repulsed asexual people. Like, how do you define that for you? Same.
I define it as I mean I am definitely in the negative circle, I guess, because I've realized that I kind of deny that like real people actually do it, because I've mostly ever like seen it on TV and in that, so to me it's just a fad that people are copying. So if like anyone that I know like ever like sort of like hints that they actually do it, I'm just kind of like, no, you don't. Not that I say that to their face, but I'm just kind of there like, no, you don't. People don't actually do that. That's not a real thing. But even if they did, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be talked to about it. If it comes on TV, I'll just change the channel until I think it's over. If it comes on in a film, I'll skip it. If it comes on in a book, I'll skip it. Audiobooks are a bit harder because you can't tell when the scene's over.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have to sort of cringe through it and then just sort of go skip, listen, skip. Oh god, it's still going. Skip, 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 skip. But but I don't want anything to do with it. I will admit I have like avoided the educational classes about it in school, and that was mostly like where the pestering and stuff from the students and teachers came in. Mind, bearing in mind I was like the oldest one in the class, and I was the only one that was a virgin,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the other girls had an abortion during the term, and I was there going, okay, but why did you put yourself in that situation?
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher, she was one of these stubborn old donkeys, and she and she was adamant that I try it because obviously I'm a girl, I'm a human. So obviously, like, what's the point of having the system if you're not going to use it? And I'm just here thinking, well, I don't want to. It makes me feel ill.
Right.
And she's just there trying to convince me that it's as important as eating and breathing. And I'm just like, well, I'm obviously not dead yet. It's been a decade and I'm still not dead yet. And the classmate that had an abortion at one point did ask me, well, how do you know that you want to stay with someone if you don't screw them before you get married? And I'm just here thinking, well, there's all of these other factors that like don't rely on taking your clothes off unless you're getting changed. And I don't understand their mindset. I just try to avoid it as much as possible, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. I've heard a lot of asexual people say that, especially when they were younger, they thought romance and sex and stuff that they allude to in movies, that all of it is fake, and that when their classmates start having crushes on other people and they're like, oh, this is just fake, like people aren't really into this, they're just copying TV. And I don't think
I get crushes, but not the getting the clothes off or whatever part. That's like once it hits that's when it starts seeming fake, and I'm just like, you could just do the film without this. This isn't important. There is stuff on Google if they're really desperate, but don't put it into the normal media, right. Please.
Yeah. Most of the time, I don't really care if it's mild, if it's in movies and stuff. If people are kissing or something, I'm just like, I hope it ends soon. But I definitely don't want to see explicit stuff in movies. I have a funny story about, I used to really like this book series where I was reading this. I read like all 4 of the books when I was in high school. And then years later, I heard that they were controversial because of how explicitly sexual they were. And I'm like, really? I don't even remember that. And it turned out I had skipped those parts. I was just like, oh, they're doing it again. Are they done? Nope. Okay. Now the story starts again. And apparently those were the good parts to everybody else.
It wasn't the 50 Shades book, was it?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
I definitely knew what that was, but I was, this was in I guess the 1990s. So Twilight has like some weird romance stuff that everybody got into, and everybody read 50 Shades, and everybody read, oh gosh, I don't know. Some of the stuff that was going around when I was a teenager was the Anne Rice books too. They were like, had a lot of stuff with, I guess, sexy vampires. I don't know, different kind. But that was never my thing. And I don't know, it was just
those are aesthetically pleasing, but I don't really want to get in a coffin with one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think kind of what you said made me think of something that I'm kind of interested in talking about, where a lot of asexual people get dubbed childish, which we talked about a bit ago in a previous subject. I think part of that is some of us just we don't want to see that stuff in our media. Like you were saying, I don't want to see or read or listen to anything that has explicit relationships in it. And so stuff that is guaranteed to not have that in it is kids media. And I personally consume a lot of kids media. Like I like stuff that's made for adults too, but I appreciate when it doesn't depend on the relationship between the leads to be interesting. I don't know. I mean, do you feel similarly about the type of entertainment that you look at?
I don't mind when there's like ships, but I do prefer it just be fluff.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you have any asexual friendly favorites?
I want to say yes, but they're kind of hiding. Give me a minute. Um, in terms of fluff, Doctor Who would have to be a good one. I can't say Torchwood because my god, the amount of Alec crap that was in Torchwood. Because me and the boyfriend at the time went through that because we thought, yeah, he's related to Doctor Who. This would be good. Oh god, no, I don't want to see a bum crack. I've seen too many bum cracks. But in terms of like young adults book series, maybe. I don't know. I tend to sort of go for sci-fi fantasy stuff and just try to avoid romantic stuff because I know, oh god, that if I may just rant, because this has annoyed me in the past year. I read several new books, and they were marketed young adults, so obviously I assumed in the teens. And they were and they were going along fine, and then suddenly the character, who may or may not be underage depending what country that they're from, like is like very heavily hinted that they start doing stuff, and I'm just here going, well, A, that was illegal, and B, why? This is why teens are doing it. You're encouraging them. Please stop. And so I suppose that in terms of ace-friendly stuff, I could recommend Hunter's Unlucky by Abigail Hilton, because that's very fantastical, and it's based on a bunch of animals, a bunch of fictitious animals.
I see.
Yeah, so that's a book series. One of my other favorites that I'm thinking of off the top of my head is the Jimmy Coates series.
Okay.
I don't remember the author for that one, and I'm not going to run off and get a book. Other than that, it's basic stuff like, say, Skullduggery Pleasant or Warrior Cats or something.
I see. Have not personally been acquainted with any of those things, but I know what Torchwood is. There's apparently somebody in that who doesn't matter your gender or your species, he's into you.
Yeah, that'll be the main character, Captain Jack.
Yep, that is what I heard.
Yeah, and I don't mind him. Well, I do kind of mind him being all flirty because I know that on screen he will happily start undressing you. But aside from that, I mean, if they just like kept everything off screen, it'll be fine. But then they're quite happy to like show the fact they're not wearing any knicks or anything, and I'm just here like, just put some knickers on and I'll be fine. I don't want to see your bum crack. please.
Yeah. I do understand that. Actually, I'm a big fan of science fiction and fantasy, and part of the reason I started reading it was that when I was a kid, the young adult market was not what it is today. Like, just young adult was romance light almost entirely in the 80s when I was a kid, and I was a more advanced reader, so I was looking for something harder than like picture books. And after you graduate from chapter books, you're like, well, what do I read now? What's for kids my age who, you might be 10 or 11, you might be going into what's next. And I went to the young adult or teen section, and it's all romance. It's all, oh, she went to tennis camp and she met a boy. Oh, they had a contest and she fell in love with a boy. Oh, she went shopping and she met a boy. And I'm like, I don't
None
care.
of this is realistic.
And I'm not, and even though these were not explicit or anything, but it was all just like, I'm not invested in whether she stays with the boy. I don't care. And part of it might have just been I was a little bit on the young side trying to read above my grade level, but then it turned out that I was asexual and aromantic anyway, so I wasn't going to care even when I was older. But it's part of the reason that I went to science fiction and fantasy, because it was imaginative storytelling, and it was harder and more engaging and longer, but it wasn't always just kind of based on relationships. And I think also part of it is people who like romance, a lot of times they're bringing their own experiences with it and kind of filling in the gaps. So the people who write romance, they don't necessarily have to tell you everything about why it's good, because they assume you're bringing your own feelings to that. Whereas science fiction and fantasy, a lot of times they're describing things that cannot happen to a person. So they're very, very detailed. So I always appreciated that. I like that in science fiction and fantasy. So.
But I know that in terms of books having rubbish in them, mum my mum would have this book series by Diana Gabaldon on in the car throughout me growing up, and I would like often listen to music of my own, because tape players existed back then.
Yes.
And what I noticed every time there was a break in between the songs, because my mum is also hard of hearing, so the tape was often up loud enough that I could hear it without my hearing aid in. And every time there was a break, it was one of those scenes. Every single time for about 10 years, and I was just like going, why? Why do I attract these scenes? Stop. Now that it's been made into a TV show, I'm just here like, well, I'm avoiding this at all costs.
Mm-hmm. I remember
because all I know is going to be 80% no. 80% nope.
80% nope. That's how I feel about a lot of stuff, to be honest. So
Yeah.
You either got really unlucky listening to those, or they were all over the place.
I think my music just very well timed itself, so then so that then when there was a break, it was just very, very overly described scenes of like how things felt, and I was just there going, what the hell are you listening to? Why?
Wasn't prepared for that. I didn't sign up for that.
I'm 7. Stop.
Oh wow, you were 7.
Yeah, and then up until I was about 17, where she learned that she could connect the technology to her hearing aids.
Oh.
She just had them on speakers, but up until then, I was just there going, please just let the music fade, please just let it just like fade straight in. I don't want to have a 30-second pause.
Oh, what a thing to have to go through.
Yeah. And she was probably there going, why the hell is she grimacing at me again?
Wow.
Was that supposed to make me like it?
Yeah.
Because I know that I've been lucky enough, like not to be traumatized into liking it, but I do know that that's one of our misfortunes. But I didn't really want to bring that up because I didn't want to trigger anybody.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, my mom is pretty forthcoming about, she didn't want anything to be a mystery or to be thought of as dirty or whatever. So when she was pregnant with my sister, I was only 5. And so she told me and my other sister about, well, this is the facts of life and stuff. And I thought it was interesting, and I was only 5 years old, 6 when she was born. But then other people have said, your mom gave you the sex talk when you were 5? Are you sure that you haven't been traumatized? And I'm like, well, number one, she gave a child appropriate version of it. Like, nothing about it. It wasn't explicit. It was just this is how this body system works. And then also I had a younger sister who was only 4 when she got that talk. And she's a typical heterosexual woman who is married, so I don't know. It's just me who's asexual. And I don't feel like that did anything. Like it didn't upset me or anything. So I don't know. Some people have criticized my mom for her choices.
Meanwhile, this book that I got on how babies are made, kind of Discord, stop! I'm trying to concentrate on talking. Brain fart. Oh, the book, right? Yes, the book. It was just this one double page where they like showed transparent adults in bed mid doing it, and the writing was, it feels very nice for both the man and the woman, and then part of my brain just went, what?
Right.
That doesn't look appealing at all. What is this?
I think I've seen that book now that you tell me that.
I just what? No.
Yeah, not appealing.
I would not be surprised if that's what triggered my being ace into being, but whatever, it's just part of who I am, and I don't want to do that.
I guess it's just as likely that you reacted that way partly because you were ace. I don't know. Either way.
Or my autism, who knows?
Right. No, I guess it's a common story for people who are not asexual. Like they think it's gross when they're younger, and then when they get older, they're like, oh, I do like this. I did outgrow that feeling that it was disgusting. But then some of us were like, no, still gross. So
why?
Yeah. And I basically just try to be respectful. I'm just like, yeah, that's what you like. Just don't tell me about it.
Just keep it in your own head. Thank you. Goodbye.
Exactly. Understood.
Another book series I just thought of, sorry, is An Animal, since you were saying about young teens series, and I know that Animals is more for 9 to 12ish year olds, but heck, they can get violent. So they are more for the older kids, but not quite adults. But then you reread them as adults, and you go, well, okay, yeah, there was one kissing book, whichever, but everything else is just, oh my god, these kids are traumatized.
100%. I read those as a mid-20s woman, and I love them.
I really want to reread them again because going off subject a bit, I want to adapt the important books into an audio play series, but yeah, I just don't know what books count as filler, so I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't really want to do all 56 books and have some people go, why did you do this story? It was boring. So I'm just trying to figure out the important ones.
I guess a lot of them were written by the ghostwriters in the middle. So a lot of those are probably more likely to be filler. I'm just curious, do you have a favorite Animorph character?
I think it depends mostly on my mood, but I've gone from Tobias to Cassie to Rachel because they're all just so diverse.
Uh-huh. Weirdly, my favorite's Jake.
Okay, fair enough. No hate.
Partly because he's a leader and he doesn't want to be. So I like that. That's cool though. That's a cool project, a cool idea. I like it. I wish that more adaptations had been done of Animorphs, but we're talking about.
Make sure I get to it.
I hope I have fans of Animorphs on my subscribers list because it'll be interesting to them.
Yeah. I mean, I will happily take suggestions if anyone wants to nag at me in the comments.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, should we try to cover anything else? Any other ideas, or do you want to wrap up about here?
We can wrap up. I don't have anything else noted down.
Okay. The Ace Media thing was kind of a bonus.
Yes.
I always hope that there will be something in common that I have with the other person that we can kind of go off on tangents about.
Yay, nothing wrong with tangents.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to say thanks to the viewers for listening to us talk. And if you have anything you want to ask either of us, get in the comments. And thank you for joining me, Ruby.
Thank you for having me.
All right.